All right, I'm so excited that you're building your skills with Dynamic Creative. Let's build your skills by you actually doing it. So as we build, you're going to notice that you have practice files available for you so that you don't have to do all this stuff to actually practice this stuff. We've created these files so that it's easy for you to make your first dynamic creative elements test and kind of build your intuition around this stuff. So the practice files are available at go.easel.co/2019pf, and you'll see that link here on the screen. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working in the menu, and then we're going to go to the Create and Manage column, go down to Ads Manager. And it's important to note while this loads that as of the creation of this course, Dynamic Creative is available for these objectives. And so I'll show you what I mean here. So if we create a new campaign, you're going to notice that this offers us all these different objectives. And if you've been in Facebook advertising, you know about this stuff. And if you're new to it, we're going to be diving into objectives very soon. But you see there's all these different objectives. Well, Dynamic Creative is available for brand awareness, reach, traffic, app installs, video views, lead generations, and conversions. And this is something that you can see in the study guide, where you're going to see specifically which objectives this is available for. So another note is that you're going to need to be in the quick creation way of creating campaigns, not the guided creation. And this option to switch is going to be up here in the upper right hand corner. So this is important. You're only going to be able to access Dynamic Creative as of the recording of this course if you're in the quick creation workflow. So let's set up a new campaign. We're going to set traffic as the objective, which is the default here for us. And let's name it. We're going to name it US Technicians Dynamic Creative Test, and then we're going to go down and we're going to name our ad set. And just a note here on how we're naming our ad set. The ad set is where you define things like the budget and also the audience. So I usually like to name my ad sets based on the audience that I'm going to be promoting the different ads in that ad set to. And then we're going to go down here and then we're going to name our ad, and let's name it Dynamic Creative Test. And then we're going to click Save to Draft. And then let's set the campaign spending limit here at $100. And so notice that this is for the entire campaign. So even if you define different budgets for your ad sets, it's going to make sure that all of your ad sets combined don't spend more than $100. So kind of the campaign spending limit is at the top. Ad sets are below that at the, sort of, it's going to pull from your entire campaign spending limit there. So now let's click on Ad Set in the upper right. And then let's toggle this Dynamic Creative feature here, and we're going to select Continue. And then down here, let's switch this to a lifetime budget. We'll just maybe make this $100. And I just want you to note here that you're probably going to need to get around 100,000 impressions if you want statistically significant results from your Dynamic Creative tests. So when you're doing this stuff for important advertising campaigns that you really want to invest in versus little tests, it may cost you, $300 or $400 depending on the market that you're targeting and how expensive it is to advertise to them. So we're going to be building more audiences in the next section, but for now, let's go ahead and select our audience. All right, so this is the audience that I'm going to be using. Here are the characteristics, and I saved this audience from a previous campaign, and we're going to be building more audiences in the coming sections, so you don't need to worry about that now. Just let's get into creating the ads. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to go up here, and then we're going to see that we have one ad. And before we do that, I wanted to share with you that I actually started this campaign here on July 23rd. I set the end date on July 26th because we wanted to make sure that the ad budget was used pretty quickly so that we could get our test results pretty fast. All right, as we get started here setting up the ad, I just want to warn you that sometime you're going to see the option for dynamic ads. Dynamic ads are different than dynamic creative, so don't click the dynamic ads option if you see that. So the first thing we're going to do is add our images. So we basically go down here. We're going to select the dynamic creative test. Then we're going to select our images. And here are our 3 images, and you have these in the practice files folder. Let's confirm those. And then now let's add in your 3 above add text creative variables. And if you want to, you could use what you created in the assignments that was in the previous module in this section. So the ones that we're going to be using, we're going to be testing the convenience, career advancement, and return on investment tests. So that's going to go up here in the text field. All right, so as we put in our first one, we're just going to click this add button, and then let's put in our other 2. All right, so now we have 3 different text variables. So now let's add in our destination URL. And if you look in the study guide, you can use the URL that I've set up, which is go.easel.co/ssmd. All right, so now we're starting to see a preview, which is kind of exciting. So now let's add in our different headlines that we're going to be testing. And just like above, we're just going to click add to open up the box for us to add in different creative elements that we can test. And then now I'm going to do the newsfeed link descriptions the same way. Great, so now you can see either different variations, and you can also see how it'll look in the different places that you can deploy your ad to. So for example, the Instagram feed is going to look a little bit different than something like maybe the audience network. All right, so let's X out of this, and then we're going to go down, and then let's make sure that our pixel is activated, and then we'll click publish, and congratulations, you just set up your first dynamic creative test.